Hey there, Pisces. It's Jen here. I'm doing your mid-April reading. Just of note, we do have a full moon. Oh, that's right. There's a full moon in Scorpio on April 27th. So a fellow water sign. I see that definitely affecting other water signs like yourself a little bit more than the average bear. I'm not an astrologer, so take that with a grain of salt. This is more my intuition than textbook astrology. Um, so let's see. Let me try to shuffle here while I'm telling you what the chant came through in the channeling. Oh, and I need to turn on my light so the video is not so dark. All right, there we go. So first, I just saw you daydreaming, sort of staring out the window or finding yourself really lost in your thoughts and your emotions. Definitely a daydreamy sort of feeling. So I could see you daydreaming about picking up and moving, just kind of a disappearing act. Living in a vacation-like setting and just picking up and leaving it all behind, like sort of a little bit of wanting a do-over, wanting a fresh start, wanting a fresh start. There's a little bit of potentially a running away or avoidance behind some of this, but I don't see you acting on it actually, because I see through this self-exploration and really going within, almost like a hermit type energy, that you'll have an epiphany, like realizing that, I have control over myself, not others. And I release myself from feeling responsible for others, but I also accept responsibility for my actions. And something about that is actually really freeing for you. I see you actively grounding yourself, so getting out in nature, communing with nature, gardening, even the arts, potentially photography or any sort of arts where you focus on nature. I see that being really healing for you. And with all this water energy, the earth signs, communing with the earth would really help to ground you. And earth signs are comfortable for the water signs as a fellow feminine sign. Okay, I'm trying to, you might be a little anxious. I'm feeling a bit anxious. I'm feeling a bit rushed. I'm feeling a bit impatient for the cards to come out. So breathing, calming techniques. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. Sorry. There we go. Trying not. You got an extra one. Oh, an extra two? All right. All right. What's going on here with the cards? Justice. I'm going to turn them all over. Ace of Swords. Wow. So definitely your brain. This is a new way of thinking. The Justice card is balance. So that balance I was saying about if you're way too much in your head and your emotions and you want to leave versus being grounded and staying put and grounding yourself so you don't feel so your emotions taking over and allowing you to, they can kind of take on a life of their own. So the Justice is about balancing those two things out and not going to one extreme or the other. The Ace of Swords is that epiphany, that aha moment, that understanding. So I just want to look at all of these together. So there's some sort of trying to judge timing. When the Seven of Pentacles comes up, for me, if you will stay on the gardening theme, if you're talking about gardening and the timing of gardening, you have to be patient. You can't plant a seed and expect to have a tomato the next day, right? But we know nowadays that you plant the seed, you should see it sprout within a few days. You should see it, you plant the seed, and then it should start growing after a certain amount of days and whatever. We have a very objective time frame when how long for the a range, but how long it takes to grow a tomato and the conditions required to successfully do that. We don't have that when you start talking about relationships or quality of life or happiness or things like that, it's just very subjective, and it's we can't point to the back of the seed packet to tell us exactly how long to wait. And then if it's been 2 weeks after that time and the seed hasn't sprouted, well, we know it's time to walk away and not spend any more energy. It's not going to grow. So it's like you may be wrestling with trying to figure out if something is worth continuing and putting more time into, or if it's time to walk away. Like, should I stay or should I go? The Ten of Wands is feeling overburdened. And this does go back to the channeling where it said, realizing you don't have control over other people, only yourself. So the Ten of Wands is often you've taken on all these burdens and responsibilities, and it's time to really look at what you're carrying around. It could be emotional baggage or resentment that you're still carrying, blame. It could be you just take on other people's responsibilities because you're, a good person, but now you realize, wait a minute, it's not even necessarily healthy that I'm doing all these things that someone else should be able to do or could do. Is that because I really want to help? Like, what's behind me thinking I have to do things for other people? And when we can think about it that way, it's easier to let go of, because our emotions can get involved. And, think about with your kids and think, well, I want them to eat. I'm going to keep giving them all this money and save them every time something happens. But then we're robbing them of, I don't know about you, but I learned the hard way, unfortunately. And we're robbing them of that lesson of learning the hard way in of the consequences of life. And again, so sometimes thinking about it that way because there's some sort of emotional guilt or codependency sometimes attached to things like that, and saying, no, it's not my place to rob them of their life experience. And who am I to think I know that much better? Maybe I need to focus on myself. So this is the Knight of Wands here at the end. Can you see, is that in the frame? It's not in the frame. Is kind of interesting because all of a sudden, well, okay, I get it. So you're overburdened, you're tired. Look how small the fire is. And the snow's piling, it's like your mojo, your inspiration, your energy is being zapped. And then once you have this epiphany and shift your focus, look at that. You're ready to move. You're ready to move forward. That the Knight of Wands is tons of energy, passion, enthusiasm, movement, feeling really fired up and excited about something. So, doing the inner work, bringing your life more into balance requires a different new way of thinking, a different way of thinking. There's looking at something, whether you should let it go or not. If something's become something you've been sort of hanging on to, what I would say is is just a burden. It's not serving you. It's zapping your energy. Um, yeah, it's not productive. And when you can release that, then you have all this new energy. We only have a certain amount of energy, right? And if we're spending all of our energy being mad or resenting or blaming um, or saving or focused on someone else, it can even be sort of obsessing over something, then we zap energy for healthy things and positive things. So I really see this shift. And I mean, you feel so much better once you can kind of wrap your mind around this and release some things moving forward. So okay, well that is your reading. So thanks so much, Pisces. Take care.